Welcome back to City Skylines 2. Today we're continuing the growth of our new city, Pebble. From being on the verge of bankruptcy in the last episode, to now making almost $1 million per month in this episode. I'm very proud of everything that Pebble is starting to become. Our focus today is going to be on major infrastructure upgrades, developing a new expansive district in the northeast of the city, and improving our public services now that our revenue is where it should be. Traffic is also becoming a bigger issue, especially with so many people moving into the Central West Side apartments and our new development to the northeast. So we're going to be making some massive changes to our road network today in order to keep everything running smoothly. At the same time, our neighborhood to the northeast will be getting developed out today, including some medium density housing, mixed use commercial zoning, and some industrial zoning as well in order to keep everybody employed. With our economy now booming, we're also going to take a look at our tax structure to see if we can encourage demand for a new college in the city as well. There is a lot to cover today, so let's get started. Beginning with development over on the west side of the river, we're going to begin with some medium density housing and some mixed use commercial districting. This is going to encourage a lot of new residents to move to this area and supply a lot of citizens that will want to go to the new high school over on this side of town as well. We're also going to expand the low density suburban neighborhood over on the west side of the river district. This is going to encourage some older population over on this side as well. Maybe get some older money in there that's going to be shopping at that medium density mixed use commercial development that we're still continuing out over here. We're going to build out some more shops, some more apartments, and eventually add in some offices over here. And in order to alleviate some of the traffic that's going to want to go over in that direction, we're going to make our main road bigger from 4 lanes up to 8 lanes. And then we're also going to add some industry to keep these people employed. But in order to give them the jobs that they really want, we do want them to have a higher education. So we're going to modify the taxes on the highly educated population down to 5% to encourage more of our population to become highly educated so that they will pay less on their taxes. At least that's what we want them to think is going to happen, right? But before we can do that, we do have to expand our economy first. So we're going to continue our mixed use and commercial developments on the west side of town. And eventually we're going to add in some parks over there as well to encourage people to move over on that side. But before we can do that, we do notice some more traffic happening on our main street. Even though it is doubled in lane size in the last 10 minutes, we did also have to add in some roundabouts because it was getting very congested coming through there. We still are experiencing some pain points that we'll have to add in more roundabouts for, but we can't do that just yet. Like I said, we have to continue growing our economy and meet the demands of the citizens of this fine city first. But as you can see here, we were experiencing a lot of traffic right here. It was people going through the roundabout and then wanting to take a left-hand turn. There was only one left turn lane, and we weren't able to place a roundabout directly right there. So we had to move the fire station and the medical center, but we were able to move past that. And then I also noticed that there was a lot of people wanting to take that right-hand turn. And so to alleviate that, going through that roundabout, we just made an offshoot of an asymmetrical road with 3 lanes going off and 1 lane coming on. But we did also make it a full crossroad so that the people that were coming into the city are able to go straight back to the apartments back there or to the industrial area. If you're leaving the city, you would just have to go to the roundabout instead of going through the cut road here. The whole point is to give them options of ways to get around the city without making it too congested. We did also have some residents over here that were complaining about ground pollution, so of course we just rezoned them to offices and some commercial districts so that way, they won't complain anymore, and now everybody's happy. We also added in some more parks that really made everybody happy, and now we're adding in the parks at the medium density and commercial mixed use district over here by the high school, like I talked about earlier. Again, these are going to attract more residents to move on to this side of the city, hopefully filling up this neighborhood by the river district. We are also going to add a lot of walking paths going through here. We really want this neighborhood to have as much pedestrian access as possible, and I really wanted it to have like a very nice suburban feel. I want it to feel like you're living in a park, kind of, because there is also a tree farm right there, so you're kind of in a park, but you're also kind of on a job site. But we want them to feel more like a park than a job site, so that's why we added the walking paths, give it a little bit more of a neighborly feel, and I think people would just like that. Like if I was living in a neighborhood and I had a little path to go to a local park, Love that. 10 out of 10. Speaking of walkability, we do also have this high density, low rent housing over here. And I realized that we didn't really have a central commercial district over on this like central east side of town. And so I decided to add in this new area over here. This would serve as a commercial hub for these low rent houses and this other neighborhood that we have across the street. And then also kind of give us a little economic base and reasoning to expand over on this side as well. We did take a look there briefly at the land that we would need to purchase in order to build our new city expansion and our future college district. But before we can get to that, we did need to build another elementary school to keep up with the local demand of education. I really like the design of the urban elementary school. I think it fit really well with our city. After we completed that expansion, we did go ahead and build out the rest of our road almost out to where we need to be for the future city expansion. Now, going back to the entrance, in order to accommodate the influx of residents that we were about to experience in the city, I was taking a look at the roads that we have currently, and I just realized that we are nowhere near where we need to be. We have all these little 2-lane roads. It's not even close to handling the capacity of traffic that is coming in and out of these roads, and so it just needed an entire rehaul or revamp. Overhaul, revamp, Anyways, we built a bridge going over the entrance first. I figured that would be our step one, is just to, not have a direct 90-degree intersection, because I figured that would just not be the most efficient way. No matter how this was going to turn out, I knew that that was not going to be it. So I did kind of go for this, I think it's called a cloverleaf intersection. I know these double back turns are good for kind of slowing down traffic and kind of keeping the same pace on the main street as well. And I think it's a 35 mile an hour on the main road. So it kind of makes sense to keep the traffic going slower as they get on to that main street that cuts through the city as they're getting off of the entrance. And now I do understand that this does look like a mess. And yes, you're right, it is. But it's functional, okay? The whole point here is function over form. It doesn't have to look good as long as it works. Now, you did realize all those red dots there. That was not working for a minute because we disconnected our groundwater pumping station. We got it quickly reconnected though. We're back on track like nothing ever happened. And then like I said, we had to overhaul the entire thing. So I deleted pretty much the entire intersection. I was really stubborn about that one little chunk of road that's in front of the cemetery because I really did not want to change that one little part, but we ended up making it all one ways over on this side and kind of connecting. You see, as they're coming out of this one roundabout, it connects onto the other road that they're coming off of the other street with. And it's a jumbled mess. It's really a jumbled mess. I'll put up a little presentation here on Photoshop to show you the direction of each of the roads that's coming through and how this actually works while we're getting this built. But it does work, trust me. I watched it. Everybody gets exactly where they need to be somehow, and nobody really slows down. We did have a couple slow patches, but I realized later that was just because we had traffic lights that were installed. And so we just pretty much deleted all the traffic lights and almost all the crosswalks on the entrance section to the city. And then we just continued on by adding a couple more roundabouts in different parts to alleviate that incoming traffic. And then just took a look at, our final product. And again, this one little chunk outside of the cemetery, I was just being very stubborn about. It was still too small. I just don't want to admit it just yet. After a few small modifications to the new entrance, it was pretty much where I wanted it to be. We had mostly 2-lane or 3-lane one-way roads going through this intersection. I was very happy with how it actually came out. We did add our final exit ramps, and then later we're going to add another cut through as well to get directly off the interstate to come into the northeast side of the city. This was all a lot of prep work, really just to make sure that it could handle the future citizens coming in. So here you can see I'm modifying the one-ways as well, coming out of the city. Again, just having them as separate one-way roads. For some reason, that just makes the traffic flow smoother. So that's pretty much what we were sticking with. Seeing everybody's so much happier afterwards. I did see a lot of people trying to sneak this left though. So we had to, that's really what made me end up deciding that I needed to make them both separate one-ways in order to encourage everybody to just go right and take that little loop around to get onto the main road, because there were a lot of people trying to sneak going left around there. And then that was just creating cross traffic, which we don't need at the entrance at all. Again, with traffic lights, we don't need those either. This is technically an interstate intersection or an interchange. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. But we added another exit going across as well. We had to make sure that they had any exit possible. My goal here was to minimize the cross traffic in this intersection because I want people to be able to enter into the city without having any impediments in their way. You know, I want them to just get in, get out, do what you gotta do. You know, we don't want them all clogged up here at the start. We want them to be able to actually get where they need to be. And speaking of which, I did make a lot of connections on this one, going off different bits from the main road that's going across the entrance there. That's going to help alleviate some traffic in the future as they move out towards this new college district that we're going to be building here in just a little bit. But in the meantime, right next to Elm Springs, we're going to make this new little commercial district and then add in this little by road that will, again, hopefully alleviate some traffic, at least, you know, as they're going between the front and the back of the city, I guess closer and farther away from the river. We're going to go ahead and buy the land so that we can go ahead and get started on this expansion though. We're going to build the road out all the way out to where we want to be on this little peninsula. And as I was building out here, I didn't realize that there was a little castle actually. And normally I would just tear these down. You know, I'm not really one that's like, you know, too fancy or too particular about my assets. But this time I was just like, you know what, let's just build around it. Let's have a good time. Let's make it a little accent piece, you know. I love a good little trinket to have on the shelf, you know. And so we built in some commercial and some office district over here. We're going to add in a little bit of industrial, but not too much because I do want to add some residential back here as well. And so I don't want them to be too polluted from any of the outputs from the industrial sector. But we do need to, you know, keep our economy going. You know, we need to give these people jobs, you know. I don't want them driving like all the way down the main street to go down to the office, like all the way down at the end, you know. And so that's another reason why I gave them this little back road here. You know, it's an extension of the main road, just to get them to a different part of the city. Again, just to divert traffic from the main road and kind of alleviate some possible congestion up there. We're also going to be building in a high school in this district. I'm not sure if I mentioned that earlier as well. But we're going to be building in a high school over here. We're going to also add in a lot of parks, probably some mixed use commercial as well. I love giving folks something to do while they're in the city, you know. That is one of my favorites. We got to keep these people active, as they say, whether it's working or playing. They got to be doing something. We also did get a snowstorm while we were recording this episode. So the whole valley, as you can see, is just snowed out right now. It looked really cool while we were in it, I gotta say. I really do like the various winter or various weather types that they do have in the game. Moving on, we're going to continue to add some commercial industry into this area, and like I said, along with some parks, but then we're going to go back towards the high school area and start gridding this out. There was a lot of traffic trying to get to that back road that I made earlier, and so we kind of had to make a funnel for that traffic, going from a 8-lane on the main road down to a 6-lane coming off, and then a 4-lane to get us to that back road. I'm pretty sure the back road is just a 2-lane at the moment, but I'm sure we'll be expanding that one to a 4-lane as well to accommodate future traffic. And then we're going to add in more mixed-use commercial before going and finishing the grid by the high school district over here. The college district is going to be very close to this as well, because I do want them to, be able to kind of feed off of each other's little mini economies, but I don't want them to be so reliant on each other that they're, extremely intertwined. I just want them to be neighbors. I want them to be neighbors. I want them to have a good homie down the street that they can call on, as they say. But there's our high school. Of course, we want to add as much extensions as possible. Right now, our monetary funds don't really allow for that for a few reasons. One of those reasons is that we were spending a lot of money on importing energy, and in order to alleviate this, I decided to build a new small coal plant, which would pollute our city just a little bit, but we're going to sneak it in by our new industrial site on the new section of our city, which is blowing the wind northwards away from the residents So hopefully they won't get hit with too much of that. Moving back to the high school district, we're going to add in some mixed-use commercial along with some parks and some offices for the office staff or for the faculty that works in the high school. And I'm sure that they can be some overflow offices for the college as well. But we're going to just continue to add in grids over here and kind of customize these shapes. Like I said, I really want this city to be intentional. I want the feel of this area to be like you're in like a college town, you know, just like you're kind of like passing through like Athens, you know. This is what I want this little section to be like, you know, because we can't make the whole city like this one way, but we can make little sections of the city like this, you know. We can give it little different neighborhoods and everything, because you know you can't. I wish City Skylines would come out with an update where it's like you could build one city and then you could literally build the cities that it's connected to as well, and like supply like different things to the different economies of different cities and make one more like specified towards different industries compared to others. Like have one that's like all software and the other it's like all livestock, and then one that's like all timber and like oil processing and like stone processing. You know, I think it'd be really cool to have like some variation like that, you know, where you can build multiple cities under the same save file, and then those cities can like, you know, they can have a symbiotic relationship with each other and they can build off each other. I think that'd be dope. So Paradox, if you're listening, I doubt you guys are, and you fuckers never do anything right. I swear to God. I'm kidding. I love this. I do love this, the game, the franchise, whatever you want to call it. But you could do better. You guys know you could do better. Anyways, I digress. We're going to fix up some more traffic issues that we have going on around the city. We're going to add in a nice little roundabout off the main stretch, and then continue that 6-lane going off the side to our arterial roads. I do love that word, arterial. I think I'm saying that correctly. Arterial. It's basically just like secondary roads is what I understand that to mean. We do have to add in our city services again. With our budget being a little bit tight, you know, I have to be mindful of what exactly we're adding in, because we are about to build this new college, which is not going to be cheap. Papa's going to feel that one in his pockets. But, you know, we are making really good money at this point, so I'm not too terribly concerned about it. It's just going to make a big dent temporarily, you know. We did also add in 10 new windmills to the northeast section of the city around the industrial area that we added in. I figured this would, again, just kind of add some more power creation to our power grid, and hopefully alleviate some of the production that is required from the small coal power plant. Before we built the college, we did have to, you know, say a congratulations to one of the investors in the college that got a mansion over there, as you can see right by the river. That is one of our biggest investors in the city. His name is Richard something. Who knows his last name? He prefers to be anonymous. You know, I shouldn't even really be talking anything about his name. Anyways, he did invest a lot of money. He did give us quite a chunk of change to get this college built, so I have no issue giving him a little house on the hill, you know, right by the riverside, as a thank you. You know, as a thank you. It's a professional gesture. You know, there's no backroom deals were made. All right, you know, nobody's getting bribed. Get your head out of the gutter. Maybe he took a couple $100,000 off the top. Who doesn't though? Who doesn't? Let me tell you. All right, before I get too political, we're gonna finish building out this little college district over here. We're going to add some offices for the faculty and staff, and then we're also going to build some medium density housing right next to it to allow for student housing. We did have to take a small loan out in order to build some more infrastructure pieces to keep the city safe, but that is neither here nor there. It's a very small loan. We'll be able to repay it very quickly. And I did want to add some low density residential along with more medium density residential around this new school area, again to kind of simulate student housing in this area. I want it to feel as realistic as possible, you know. We did have to take out a slightly larger loan this time, just about $1 million in 1.1 M's, as the kids say, to build this new incineration plant. One unexpected outcome that did occur was that there was a high sewage output from the incineration plant, which I really didn't think about before I built it, but all we had to do was just build another like sewer outlet, so it really wasn't that big of a deal at the end of the day, but it was just an unexpected consequence. We did also zone for our first ever high density building right here, right next to the college. It built in perfectly. I'm very excited to build this area out and get more density in that little area. But yeah, that is our college district, and I'm really happy with how this city is coming together. Our central mixed-use commercial district is looking fantastic. The upper new neighborhood on the northeast side of the river is looking amazing. The whole city looks very just put together, very put together. I love our little neighborhoods, the little medium density cities that we've got being built so far. It's looking fantastic, honestly. I'm very happy with how everything's coming together. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I do plan on doing another episode, so if you have any suggestions for something that you would like to see built or something that you would like to see named, really anything that you would like to see implemented into the city, whether it be taxes, roads, buildings, strat, I don't know. Just, tell me what's on your mind. Talk to me from the heart. Okay? All right. Anyways, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.